Hey everybody, it's your girl Sherry, and welcome back to Alleged Actually podcast. Listen, I had to jump on here tonight so we could talk about the premiere of Real Housewives of New York. It aired last night. I don't know, guys. I've been hearing mixed reviews, and I just wanted to hop on and talk about what I thought about it. Listen, no, it wasn't like knock me out spectacular. No, but it was a reintroduction to the ladies. We get to check in with them and kind of see where they're at since their first season. I mean, guys, this is like their sophomore season. And I don't think it was bad. I think there was a lot going on. I think that it was a lot of little itty bitty drama, and the storylines have got to firm up. But look, we know that it's going to. I mean, we already got into some tea as far as finding out that Erin and her husband Abe are going to be exploring some issues that have gone on between them. We know that the two newcomers, y'all, we got to talk about them. Rebecca Minkoff and Raquel Chevermont. I think they're two really good additions to the show. Let's take a look here. Here's Miss Rebecca. Yeah, she is big in the fashion industry. That's a whole fashion brand, Rebecca Minkoff. But what makes her so, I guess, good for the show with her with her ties to the Church of Scientology. And there's some other things. I'm not sure how much they're going to get into, but I found out that Rebecca has some stuff with her. She's got quite a past. Apparently, it's a controversial tie with the Church of Scientology, and it's got some people feeling kind of funny about her joining the cast. But, I'm here for it. I think it's a good fit with Jenna Lyons being on the show, and, her ties to J. Crew as the president of J. Crew. So naturally, they know each other from the fashion industry. And then we have the other newcomer, who is Raquel Chevermont, who also has ties with Jenna Lyons. They actually know each other a little bit more interestingly. They met around the 2012 mark, where they both they knew they were coming out at the same time. They both had been married to men previously and then came out as gay women, lesbians, formed a friendship. And Raquel is an art curator. She's also a model, and she's done work on the show Empire. She is pretty big in the fashion world as well. So, and so far, and she's engaged to a woman, male, who apparently they have a little scandal behind how they got together. So I think the storylines are going to firm up. I think we just have to stay tuned. But I'm going to get into a little bit about the recap of what went on last night. So if you haven't watched it yet, spoiler alert, I'm going to talk about the show. So hop off, go watch, and then come back, watch the replay, and let me know what you thought. So the show starts off actually with a little bit of the fallout between Ubah and Bryn. It seems like Bryn is getting into it with everybody on the first episode. So I don't think we have to guess who's going to be this season's villain, honey. Bryn is vying for the spot, and she seems to have it. She is in it with everybody, honey. Bryn is being ultra messy. But the ladies are getting ready to do their photo shoots to promote the new season. And so then, of course, production takes us back 3 months earlier, where Bryn is moving into her new apartment. She's moving a little further north, where she was currently living prior to last season, she was in the West Village. And she has now got a new baby, her fur baby, her little dog. Listen, I love Real Housewives of New York. I like these new ladies. A lot of people are just really tied to the legacy, to your good old Luann's, Dorinda, Sonia Morgan, Ramona. I mean, your OGs in New York. And I understand that because I love them too. I do. But, I think it was one of the guys that do a lot of the recaps and do a lot of the Bravo content out there in YouTube world, podcaster, that said, if you loved the OGs in New York, you guys should have tuned in. The ratings were horrible. And so they did what they're doing for a lot of the Housewives. They did the reboot. I thought last season was a formidable first season. They did okay. And like I've said this, and I'm not trying to do the whole name drop, but I did meet the ladies out at BravoCon. You got to catch them just before they know they're really famous. They were really nice, really gracious ladies. Nice conversation with Bryn and Aaron. They were both really, really, really nice to talk to, really down to earth and relatable. And so I'm tuning in and checking them out. And then there's just something about New York, the trendy restaurants, the apartments, so we like I was saying, Brenda's moving into her new apartment. I live in North Carolina and I have a pretty big house. And honey, what I paid for my house would probably buy me a matchbox in New York. So I'm always blown away by, just the opulence of, the ladies' lifestyles, and they're a little younger. So it brings that to is giving that. But like I said, back to the recap, Brenda's moving in her new apartment and she has her brother we get to meet, Darius, who is visiting from Seoul, South Korea. And he's going to stay with her for a month. And she is going to invite all the ladies out because he's in town to have a dinner with them. Because at this point, a lot of the ladies have not spoken in some time. She wants to get everyone back together because the last time they did it, they all had a really good time. And this is also her way of trying to get her brother to fall in love with New York and agree to stay and come back from South Korea. I'm sorry. And then we go over to Jessel and her husband, Pavit, and they go out for a date. As we know, Jessel's husband is quite the foodie. Hence all the scandal of the first season when he would hop on a plane and go off to Vietnam for a sandwich. He's playing on that. And because of that, he's now become a food influencer. And so he's taken Jessel on her first subway ride, child. This is a New Yorker that does not ride the train. She lets us know she Ubers everywhere she goes. And y'all, was it me or has Jessel's face changed significantly? I mean, I know that some people are saying, well, it's her veneers. Some are saying, okay, well, maybe she's gotten a nose job. Her face looks different. And I was like, did she have work done, or was I just not paying attention to her first season? Y'all let me know what you think. I definitely think she's had a nose job. I mean, she looks great, y'all. Don't get me wrong. Jessel looks good, but she definitely is giving, I've had some work done to my face. But they go out to a place called Carol's Bun. They go out and eat. And it's an Asian restaurant. And she basically wants to talk to him about her birthday's coming up. And, she wants to make sure that he gets her a gift. She lets us know that he's pretty much stopped the gift giving since she's had the twins. Sir, no. We don't do that. This woman gave you 2 precious babies and that's when you stop gift giving. No, sir. So this time she's like gonna not leave any guesswork. She's letting them know, honey, I want the spa treatment. I want a whole day to myself, and I want some bags. I want the Celine, the Chanel, the Dolce & Gabbana, the Bottega bags, all waiting for me when I get back from the spa. Child, I am not mad at that, honey. That sounds like a very good birthday to me. So while they're eating, she does let them know that she got an invoice from Dr. Wang, who is their fertility doctor, about the embryos they have. The embryos are out on the West Coast in California. And she's like, look, we're paying to keep our embryos frozen. At some point, don't you want to have, one of these children? Don't you want a daughter? And he's like, no, I'm good. And she's like, well, we could have the next Beyonce or the next Elon Musk in that freezer. And she's like, are you willing to say goodbye to Beyonce or Elon? And he's like, I can say goodbye to Beyonce. The nerve. But he's not willing to say goodbye to Elon Musk. Okay, well, we just learned something about Pavit. Anyway, honey, then we going over to Erin, and she has gone out to meet Ubah for lunch. Y'all, I have noticed that Ubah is getting a lot of hate, and I don't understand it. I'm in a lot of the different fan groups, group chats on social media for all things Bravo, and I get in there and chop it up with everybody talking about all of the Housewives, all the shows on Bravo, not just the Housewives, and then all of the cast. And she's getting a bad rap. A lot of people are not feeling Ubah. I like Ubah. I mean, I get what they're saying. She's temperamental. She does complain a bit. A lot of people say that she reminds them of Chanel Aeon, which I'm like, well, they are cousins. So I mean, there's that. I like Ubah though, and Ubah, I like Ubah this season because she's in love and she's happy. And y'all, her man, I'm gonna bring up the picture of her man, Oliver. They make a stunning couple. Yes, I mean, yeah, he is in the banking industry, and when they were calling him Mr. Connecticut last season, we now know his name is Oliver, honey. And so at this point, Erin and Ubah have become very close. She said that Ubah or Erin is like the peanut butter to her jelly. They are like sisters. They talk all the time. That's definitely different from season one. That's when they got into it, when they went on the vacay about Erin hiding her phone. Y'all, that was craziness. But they've squashed all that and they're cool. And at this lunch, also Rebecca Minkoff meets them. She's Erin's friend. And like we talked about, she's a designer, well-known designer. Like I said, Jenna also knows her, so they're all cool. And Ubah talks about how, she hit the jackpot with boyfriends. She's really, really happy with her boo Oliver. So much so, y'all, that she's talking about having a baby. And I don't know how old Ubah is, but I would suspect that she is nearing in her late 30s, maybe. And so she said that, she does want to have a child with her boyfriend, Oliver. If it doesn't happen naturally, they're even talking about adopting. So Ubah is booed up and happy with her man, Oliver, and it looks good on her. They tell Ubah that, she's got these great genes, and they talk about pregnancy and how Erin and Rebecca, how pregnancy did their bodies. I'm looking at Erin. First of all, Erin is this big. So what did pregnancy do to her body, honey? And Rebecca looks good too. I'm like, y'all stop it. Stop it. At any rate. So Erin mentions Bryn. And she talks about that Bryn is having this party because, like I said, or Brennan's invited everyone out to dinner because Brennan's inviting everyone. And she asked Ubah if she's coming. Ubah is coming, but she says she'll be a little late. And then they invite Rebecca to also come along. Since she's a newcomer, she knows everybody, so she's perfectly happy to come. And they let her know that Jenna and Sai is going to be there. Rebecca knows both of them, so again, she's good. She met Sai. She said back when mommy entrepreneurs were trending, and Sai was kind of like that it girl kind of everywhere, so she definitely knows Sai. And then she said Bryn is, and Erin says, in their friend group. And they described Bryn as bubbly and fun. And Ubah asked the last time that she's seen Bryn, and Erin has not seen Bryn for a while. The last time is the infamous time at Jenna's house that keeps coming up in this episode. Jenna apparently had a girls' night in where all the ladies came, and all kinds of mess got started up from that gathering at Jenna's. And so Erin said when she got there, she kind of felt the tension when she was at Jenna's. And they talk about, she was like, in this group, everybody kind of talks about each other in small groups. Then it kind of makes it to the big group. And there's always some kind of problem. And so we leave that scene and go over to Bryn, who's now looking for a kitchen table for her new apartment. And she invites Jenna to join her and Jessel. And Jessel says, I hope that Bryn has invited me for my good taste. And Bryn is like, no, I have invited you because you are honest. And I have invited Jenna for her good taste. And so they go in and they look at some different furniture. And Bryn lets the ladies know that she is definitely upset with Aaron. Now, y'all, this is when it gets silly to me, and y'all let me know what you think. She's upset with Aaron because Aaron was on Jeff Lewis's podcast, and it came up like it comes up all the time. What does Bryn do for money? We are still not exactly sure what Bryn's job is. And Jeff Lewis being Jeff Lewis, it wasn't even Jeff that initially asked. It was his co-host that asked if the question was, did she think that Bryn had someone that helped her financially? Aaron said no. Jeff Lewis said that he definitely did. And Aaron's like, oh, you do? You think so? And that was kind of basically the gist of what happened. And somehow from that, Bryn thought that Aaron believed that she slept with men for money, or that she was putting that out there. And she just told the ladies that, look, it was so lewd and disgusting what she said about me. And, we talked about this at one point before, and I had forgiven her. And then here it pops up again on this podcast. So, child, she's not happy with Aaron. Then the sillier thing is, it comes out that at Jenna's girls' night in, Bryn stays after and tells Jenna that Aaron basically said she was broke. Y'all, first of all, that is so stupid. I mean, we'll get to the story behind it, but the whole thing is so silly. I think that anybody knows that Jenna Lyons is not broke. But the story is that Jenna had invited Aaron out to the Hamptons and had driven her vintage Mercedes. The car broke down, and Aaron had offered to get them an Uber, and Jenna never paid her back. So Jessel, and Jenna seems kind of unbothered by it. I mean, Jenna Lyons, honey, she just doesn't give that she's petty like that. But, the ladies are making it a thing because, they got to have a storyline, right? And so they're, Aaron maintains that she never said that Jenna was broke. And, Bryn swears she said it. And Jessel's kind of like, well, I think she was kind of just trying to make the story funny. And I think this is where people are getting, where they're thinking, okay, this is the premiere. Because, yeah, that is kind of dumb, y'all. I mean, it's silly. We all know Jenna's not broke. And Aaron even says, I think her $10 million loft and $5 million beach house would be clear and let us know that Jenna is far from broke. Ridiculous and silly. But anyway, that's basically the gist of what they were talking about in between Bryn and the girls and Aaron and the girls. And so at this point, Ubah says it was Sai, Jenna. Oh, when they were talking about the girls' night, let me just tell y'all, the girls' night at Jenna's was Ubah, Sai, Bryn. No, Ubah wasn't there. Sai, Jenna, and Aaron were there, and Bryn. And so, at any rate, back over at Bryn and the ladies, Jessel asked Jenna where she was. Oh, I already told you the story. So the story was the Hamptons and the silly Uber thing. So they go back and forth, child. I mean, that took up a great portion of the episode, which I thought was silly. So then Sai and Jessel get a chance to meet up. Now that's new because they also did not get along very well in season 1. I think, and you get to see a very different Sai. She calls herself Zen Sai. Sai is doing the work on herself. She's going to therapy. I think Sai got a lot of backlash from how she acted on season 1. She came across as nasty, mean, very, just very nasty, very pop off-ish, And so she's really working on herself. So she invites Jessel to a cryogenics place, spa, where they're going to do kind of like a cold plunge. And Sai lets Jessel know that this is what she does. It's something that'll help her lose weight, which is actually not true. But anyway, they do the little quick plunge, little cold cryogenic plunge, and they get a chance to talk about it. And Sai, that's when we get to know that Sai and Jessel have made amends, and that she's really working on herself, and that she has not really spoken to Bryn. But she's invited, and she says she's going to go to the dinner because she does like Bryn's brother. And she talks about the same night at Jenna's. And she then says that it was said that Jessel lets her know that Jenna's saying that Sai was going around saying she hated Jenna. Another thing, very, very silly. So Jenna also has a visit with her girlfriend's mom, Nancy. And they're helping her purge her closet. This is something apparently Jenna Lyons does, I guess, annually, particularly her shoes. And this is when we get a chance to first meet the other newbie, Raquel. And like I told you in the beginning, Raquel and her know each other also through the fashion world. She's an art curator. She's a fashion model. And like I said, they really bonded. She met Jenna as Jenna was coming out of her divorce in 2012. They became friends. They actually were coming out at the same time. And Raquel is engaged to a woman named Mel. And apparently there's some drama behind that that's going to come out in the season. So stay tuned for that. So then we go over to Erin and her family, and they're going out for ice cream. And they've also moved to Uptown, which apparently works better for them. And they out with their kids, and their son Levi says their new apartment is too small. Child, that's the thing about New York, again, and I will state. The size of the apartments are small because the cost of living there is ridiculous, and there just is no space for living. I love New York, but that is my one biggest gripe. I could not live there. Like I said, all this house that I have, literally for what I pay for this house, I would be in like probably the size of my closet is what I'd be living in. But I do have a nice size closet. So there's that. At any rate, they are talking about a townhome that they are also looking at to renovate and possibly move into that, which she get the stamp of approval from her kids. But she was saying, letting her husband Abe know that the property has got to have a lot of work. They even have she said cherubs on the wall, probably like this old school wallpaper. And he was just kind of like, oh, cool. Then we could do shrooms and stare at the pictures all day. And she quickly shuts him up and tells him that's stupid, shut up. And you could tell he's kind of thrown off by it. And she chops him up, honey. And she's like, you don't say that on TV. You don't joke like that. When you know how the producers do it and they get all shady, they do a flashback of her looking at a property saying, oh, this would be a good place that you could trip out on something and really enjoy. So it's not like that's not their humor. But we come to find out that there's something bigger going on between her and her husband. And that will come out in the season. So we're going to have to keep watching to see that. And so we go back over to Bryn and her brother, Darius, and she's talking about everybody that's coming to the party. She knows that Rebecca Minkoff is coming, as well as Raquel. And then you have Jenna. She's over there on the phone, and she's talking to Raquel. She's really excited that she's coming out and bringing her fiance, Mel. And at this point, Raquel gets a chance to kind of tell us a little bit about her and Mel. We see that she has 2 children that really love Mel. The family is blending together nicely. They got the Ducati going. So like I said, I like Raquel and Rebecca for the show just to see how the storylines kind of firm up. And so now it's time for the dinner, the gathering, and they're at a nice rooftop restaurant. Jenna shows up first, then Sai, and then Bryn says that they're cool, but they're just not close anymore. Then comes Aaron, and child Jenna has on her pink vagina dress. I thought that was kind of a odd choice for Jenna. Jenna usually comes dressed a little bit more blazery pants. But fashion forward, it's not my thing, but they kind of picked on her about that dress. Then came Jessel, Rebecca, and they're all at the table, and Erin lets Jessel know, as she asked her to come over to the bar with her, that she received a text from Erin saying that she was so disappointed. And Jessel has no idea what she's talking about. And then back at the table, Raquel and Mel show up, and Bryn, being Bryn, says there's some new lesbians in town and she's interested. Because Bryn be all up in Jenna Lyons' face, honey. Bryn be doing the ultimate flirting with Jenna Lyons, child. So now she has some new ladies to flirt with. Bryn is a mess. So Sai asked Jenna also, everybody's kind of getting their stuff hashed out at this dinner, as we knew they would, why she thinks that she said that she hates her. And she's like, because that's what I was told. And Sai is like, by who? And then she kind of nods over at Bryn. Bryn is in that midst once again. And I love Bryn, but Bryn be stirring it up. And Erin said, well, she kind of looks at Sai like, we went through our chats. In other words, it can be substantiated that you were saying some not so nice things about Jenna. And Sai had a problem with Jenna saying that she wouldn't fly unless it was first class. And so Sai had kind of like an issue with everybody, but she admits she was kind of going through some things. We find out last season that she lost her mom. Her mom struggled with addiction, and Sai's rough upbringing kind of made her less tolerant of Jessel's kind of privileged ways and Jenna's privileged ways. So, there's that. And I think her cattiness and her meanness really turned a lot of people off. So, Sai is trying to come across the screen a little bit more delicate, but at dinner, honey, old Sai comes popping out. But before we get there, Jessel asked about the text from Erin, and Erin wants to know what she said when they were telling Jenna, or when they were talking about what she said on the podcast. It seemed as if Jessel was co-signing with Bryn that Erin had alluded to Bryn, or that Bryn had made up the story about Erin saying that Jenna was broke. And Jessel was like, no, basically what I said was, perhaps you were using your humor. And Erin's like, I never said that. Child, no big deal, but that was their little drama. And then, Erin's defending herself, and then Bryn comes over and says, she's talking about what you said. And she's like, I have integrity. I tell the truth and you don't. And so that sets Bryn off. And she's like, listen, I'm not lying. That's what you said. And it's more back and forth. And then Sai and Jessel both agree there's nothing wrong with being a sugar baby anyway. But it goes back and it shows what was said on the podcast. And that is not what Erin said. At any rate, Bryn is convinced that she's implied, honey, that she sleeps with men for money. And then Sai's like, that's simply not true. At this point, y'all, Sai is getting mad and she's doing it again, y'all. And she's like, Zen Sai is gone. And so Bryn says, Sai, why are you even in this? And she said, because you're lying. And so, like I said, it's more of that. They argue. And then Sai gets mad, calls her a narcissist. It starts flipping on her. And then she tells what she said about Jessel when she called her husband. She said, wait, y'all. Bryn brings up her phone. It's like, boo, I got the receipts right here. You said with Jessel with her Dory looking husband. Child. She said that man looked like Dory. Like, find the Dory, y'all. I cackle. And at this point, she tells her that she is Satan. She tells Brand, honey, you are Satan and you are unwell. Sai is just pissed. I mean, so we have Sai and Jessel. We have Aaron and Jenna. We have Bryn and Aaron, all at odds over silly things. At this point, Bryn's had enough and she's getting ready to leave. She's like, at this point, this is gross. You know, we're all grown. We're yelling in this really nice restaurant. I'm not here for it. So she goes and grabs her brother Darius, and he's like, we gotta leave now. And she's like, yeah, I'm out. Of course, just as she's leaving, Ubah shows up and wants to know where Bryn is. And at this point, Bryn has exited the building, only to leave us waiting for more on next week to find out how it all shakes out. Now, okay, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I'm not even gonna hold you. It was not the premiere of the century. It had nothing on Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City had a pretty good premiere, and I haven't started recapping them yet, but I am going to add them to the lineup. So that is coming. But I am encouraged to keep watching. I'm going to encourage you guys to keep watching so we can keep talking about it. I really think it's going to shape up to be a good season. I think it just started off a little slow. Like I said, the two editions, the two within themselves, they come with a little scandal, a little more for us to find out, and some good storylines. And so, where some people think these ladies are a snooze fest, I say keep watching and give them a chance. So you guys weigh in on the comments and let me know what you thought about the premiere of Real Housewives of New York. Are you guys going to be watching? What did you think about the first episode? Are you going to be in it and give it a chance and see it through the season? I hope so, because I'm going to keep coming back and I am going to keep recapping. Now, I want to tell you a couple things I got going on over here at the podcast that I want you to look out for. I am getting ready to do another interview with another of the authors of the Design Your Wealth Mindset book. There are 5 dynamic ladies that co-wrote this book, and I have made it a series. And I really want you guys to tune in. It's Brandy Gamble, and I will be talking about her contribution to the book. It will be dropping very soon, so be on the lookout for that. Also, y'all, this month, as you know, it is Domestic Violence Month. It is also Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I'm going to be doing some things with that. But in line with the domestic violence and the fact that October is Halloween month, I have something so exciting that is going to be dropping this month. I'm doing a collaboration with Citizen Survivor True Crime Las Vegas podcast. We are going to be coming to you guys with an extremely compelling real life true crime story where the world of reality TV and true crime come together. We are going to be putting together for you guys an amazing episode on the story of Mark and Debbie Constantino. They were featured on the show Ghost Adventurers that was on ID Discovery, and it started off on the Travel Channel. I know a lot of people watched that. They were highly featured in that show. Y'all, their story ended in a horrible murder-suicide, but there's a backstory to that. You guys are not going to want to miss that. You have got to come back for that. So, like I said, keep tuning in. I will be back with you guys on Monday. I'm talking about tonight's episode of Real Housewives of Orange County. Bravo Mondays. Wednesdays, we do 90 Day Fiancé the other way with me and Big Nige. And I'm going to start doing Real Housewives of New York on Thursday nights. Also, we have our pop culture segments that you will have to catch us on the weekends. Me and my co-host Bria are putting together. There's so much happening. So we're putting together another really good pop culture segment, and you won't want to miss that. So you guys, if you haven't yet, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I'd love a thumbs up for this live, and give me your feedback in the comments. I will be back on Monday. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, I love you guys. We're still trying to reach our next sub goal of 5,000 subscribers. We're getting close. So, guys, if you haven't yet, share with your friends and subscribe and keep coming back. You guys have a great night. All right. Love you guys. Bye.